Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today I've got my first OU team. I didn't think I was going to build an OU team as fast as I did, but I saw Mega Sableye and I'm like, okay, I think this guy is really cool and I really want to make a team around him, so I did it really quick. It's a bit stally. It's not supposed to be super stally, but it kind of ends up being like that a little bit, so I'm probably going to change it up after this a little bit, but it felt really good, and I think it has a lot of options. And if if you know what your opponent's doing and you know what you're doing, I think there's a lot of lines of play that can really help you out and get you there. So first we got Sableye with Prankster, but that doesn't really matter as much. Normally you just go right into your Mega with Mega Sableye, and that's fantastic, being able to just have a lot of defense and just pretty much disrupt your opponent with knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, recover, and protect. So just kind of stally there, but knockoff and Will-O-Wisp being able to really disrupt them. And then also, if you don't know, the Mega has Magic Bounce, which is kind of like a passive taunt, but better, being able to anytime your opponent uses an ability to do something, it bounces off of you and goes to them. So if they use Stealth Rocks against Sableye, it bounces off and gives it back to them. So that feels really good. So not only do they not set up their Stealth Rocks, but they get set up on instead. And also works with like SAS conditions and all that. So really great move, and I really like it on Sableye. So there is that. We've got specially defensive with 252 in special defense and some HP as well. Next we've got Clefairy. Really like this Clefairy. It's probably too annoying for its own good, to be honest, and maybe borderline boring. But I decided to go with Unaware, and I really didn't want to get set up against on my opponents. And I think this is also kind of like a weird like meta call where people aren't expecting Unaware. Everyone's assuming you have Magic Guard, so they kind of try to set up on you, and then you just don't really care about it, right? You're unaware. So and people really don't realize until they swing, and they're like, oh, why didn't that do as much as I thought it was? Man, Clefairy is way more bulkier than I thought, when in reality their Sword Dance really did nothing against it. So moveset, I've got Moonblast, Wish, Protect, and Heal Bell. I don't know how I feel about Heal Bell. I might want to change it to Calm Mind just so I can do some setting up myself. I've had times where if I can get outstalled by something, nothing can happen. So being able to kind of use Calm Mind could be helpful, but of course if I get toxic, then Heal Bell can be kind of detrimental there. So this is going to be a physically defensive, so 252 in HP and 252 in defense with a bold nature. So just a really defensive wall. Clefairy doesn't have like fantastic defense. Like, it's bulky enough, but it doesn't have it's fairy type, which is pretty good at a defensive type. So we've got that. Next up, we've got Toxapex, really standard build here. Black Sludge, Regenerator. We got Skull, Toxic Breaks, Recover, and Haze. Haze might not be needed. If you want, you can go for Baneful Bunker, which is great for giving poison, and also protects you. So if you need like a little bit more recovery from Black Sludge, that you get there. But Haze can be really good for just stopping a sweep. So I think that's important there. Next up, we've got, and then just 252 HP, 252 special defense, and then 4 in defense with a Calm Nature, which raises special defense. Next is Heatran, pretty standard, just bulky kind of special attacker. I don't know how to say it. You got Modest. You've got 252 in special attack, 252 in speed, and then this is also our Z move. So we have Steelium Z, which is pretty powerful. Stab and everything. We've got Magma Storm. I don't know how I feel about this. You can also use Lava Plume if you want. I just thought Magma Storm is better. We got Earth Power, Flash Cannon, and then also Stealth Rock, so we can set up our own Stealth Rock against our opponent. Next up, we've got Tapu Bulu. I don't think I'm going to keep Tapu Bulu. I think he's just too passive, and if we're kind of... I kind of was like, okay, Grassy Surge can work for me and against me at the same time, so decided just... it can be... You'll see in the video how it does that, but it's still alright. It's a good physical attacker. Just Choice Band with... Wood Hammer, Horn Leech, Superpower, and Stone Edge with a Adamant Nature with 252 in attack and 176 speed and 80 HP. I don't know really why that's important, but I went to Smogon, and that's what they told me to do. So there's that. And then lastly, we've got Magearna. Not sure how she fits too, but she can be really good at just setting up and sweeping. So if you get a good switch on her, and then you use Shift Gear. There's that, and then also we have Grassy Seed just to boost your defense. And so like the biggest thing that can happen to Magearna is that you get earthquaked or something. So between having Tapu Bulu, putting in Grassy Surge, and then also having Grassy Seed. Earthquake does less damage, and also you get more defense. So I feel like that's really good and just helps you set up with Shift Gear, and then can potentially steamroll with a mix of Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Focus Blast. So there's that. 252 in Special Attack, 252 in Speed, and then also Timid Nature. So that's the team there. Probably not my final build, but definitely a really good first draft, and I really like it. And let's go into the match. All right, so here we go. We got my match against Roy. Also, this is sped up. If you can't already tell, this is a pretty long battle. IRL time, it took like an hour to play. So it's super long battle. I'm going to try to speed it up as much as I can. But he's leading off with his Diancie, and I am leading off with my Sableye, which is really awkward since, well, first we're both going to Mega Evolve, but both of the Mega Evolution forms of these guys have Magic Bounce, so neither of us really wants to like use any of our moves to set up on each other. So I go for the Protect, just kind of scouting out what he's going to do, and he uses Moonblast, which is super effective against Sableye. So that's kind of scary. I decided to switch out and go into my Tapu Bulu. I think this is a good choice, just because I can super effect with a grass move, and then also I don't think Diancie could do any damage to me. He goes for the Earth Power, predicting a switch into Heat Ram, presumably. So I think that was a good call on him. I think Earth Power and would have done pretty much the same amount of damage as Moonbeam, so or Moonblast. So he goes for Protect on my Horn Leech, which I pretty much scouting the same thing I did previous turn with Sableye, and goes into the Victini, which is definitely a big scary threat for Tapu Bulu. But I go for the Horn Leech, and it actually does like almost half damage, so that is actually really good. I thought about staying in and trying it again, but I think I'd just die immediately, so I decided to go for the switch, and I go into Toxapex, and just expecting some kind of fire move and being able to take that. But instead he goes for the U-turn, predicting my switch, and even if he didn't, even if I didn't switch, that would still do a ton of damage to Tapu Bulu. So he goes into the Kartana, which is very scary for my Toxapex, especially since Grassy Terrain is active. So he goes for the Sword Dance there, predicting I'm going to do a switch. But I go for Toxic Spikes, which has been is going to be really helpful for the rest of the game. I think if he would have just gone for Leaf Blade, it would have been a whole different thing. But he didn't, and so he goes for his Z move. Going for what is it? I don't even remember which one he uses. Is the grass? No, it's the breakneck blitz there. So he is +2, and it's a Z move. I think he could probably KO me. I believe that's what ends up happening. Yep, Toxapex goes down to that. So I mean, trading for what the Toxic Spikes did for the rest of the game, I think it was worth it. But it definitely felt good just getting rid of his Z move. So. He's still at full health. He's going to go for Leaf Blade, and luckily Grassy Terrain is gone, so it would have KO'd me probably if it was still there, but I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and luckily it does hit, so that's going to be a big hindrance for his Kartana. And so after that, I'm going to switch again into my Tapu Bulu. I don't actually think this is a good move looking back, especially since my Grassy Surge is active again, but he goes for another Sword Dance, which is super scary. And I think this is when I decide to just go back into my Clefairy. Let me make sure that's actually what I do. Yes, okay, cool. I do switch out. I'm like, no, I don't want, double. So I go for Clefairy, and since Clefairy has Unaware, this Leaf Blade barely does anything, even though he's +4. He is burned and everything, but, he's +4 at the same time. So that felt really good to just, predict that and go into. I shouldn't have gone into Tapu Bulu. I don't really know what I was thinking there, but so he's going to keep going for Leaf Blade. I believe I go for either a Wish or a Moon right now, but yes, I do go for the Wish, just making sure I have protection. And like any of these crits would do a lot. So being over half health is really important for my Clefairy, or sorry, Clefable. So he really isn't getting hit that much, but he goes for another Leaf Blade. I'm thinking he's probably choiced also. But I go for Moonblast. I think I do a little bit over half health. Almost half, and so that's really good, and which means that after burns, one more or so would probably get him. So, and I'm back to full health with Wish as well. So I think I'm just gonna go for another Wish here, as he withdraws his Kartana for Landorus. This can't really affect me either, luckily. I think he just wanted to probably lay some, lay some stealth rocks and maybe do some damage to me. But, yeah, and then also the grass training goes away. So I switch out, and I go for my Tapu Bulu, just predicting that I can, get rid of whatever he's wanting, especially thinking that he's probably going to try to go for Earthquake again. So just being able to, reduce that damage as well. Felt pretty good. Yeah, that did nothing. So with Tapu Bulu, and also, with the Wish, I was able to go, full health. So after that, I'm just going to go into Magirna, because I have Grassy Seed, which means that defense goes up, and then he probably, and then Earthquake once again won't do as much damage too. So I feel pretty safe in starting to set up. He does go for the Stealth Rocks, which kind of suck a little bit. If I would have gone into instead my Sableye, it would have made a big difference. But I went for Shift Gear, doubling my speed. So I am in the I do have enough speed to sweep, but I have to be able to kill something first. And I was thinking that this Victini wouldn't be as bulky as it was, so I just go for Thunderbolt, and I get a super lucky crit. If I didn't get this crit, I think this game would have been 100% different. But there goes the V-Crate. It's able to KO me, and then he's able to. He's just going to die to poison damage too. So I think that's a fair enough trade. But yeah, it was pretty sketchy with the that crit. I think that crit really saved me in this game. So he sends his Diancie out again, and I'm going to go for my Sableye again. So not really wanting to keep in that. I mean, he's really low, and pretty much what I need to do is I have to go for the Wish and then trade off or trade out at the right time. But I just go for the Protect just to heal a little bit of damage for my Sableye, just to make sure that I can trade, switch into him another time, with Stealth Rock damage. So Grassy Terrain disappears again. And so after that, I switch out of Sableye and go into my Heatran, hoping he doesn't go for Earth Power, so I can deal some damage. But I believe he does. Oh no, he does go for Moonblast. So this does nothing, luckily. And I think I can do more damage to him with. I think I'm faster actually, but I think I actually go for the Stealth Rock here. No, he just goes for Moonblast again, thinking I'll trade or something. I'm not sure why I didn't go for Earth Power, honestly. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought he was going to switch out, and so that's why I went for Stealth Rock. But that was just a really weird turn. Both of us really didn't do anything. But he goes for the Earth Power correctly and just KOs my Heatran. I should have gone for Earth Power myself, but I didn't, and that was kind of stupid. But yeah, so I send out my Clefable again. And I think I can pretty much still wall out this Diancie. So he goes for Moonblast here, and that doesn't do anything to me. Never mind, it does a lot. I'm thinking about a different move. Man, my commentary is like 50-50 today, huh? But so that happens. I think I go for the Protect just so I have a full health Clefairy. And luckily, even with all this, I'm still able to just stall out this Diancie. So I think that's what I was trying to do for a little bit, because he's not going to be able to do enough damage and kill me at the same time, as his poison just keeps taking him down. So I think I'm just going to kind of subscribe to that plan for a little bit. So he withdraws his Diancie, realizing that he probably can't win the stall trade. So I just go for another Wish right now. And really right here, I had a really big choice, because I had Tapu Bulu left, and I had Sableye left. And so I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I put out Sableye, because he could really help this Wish? And instead I go in for the Bulu again, which I think was the wrong play. I think instead I should have gone for the Sableye, because right here he goes for the Toxic, which would have been really great to also just bounce right back to him. But that didn't happen, so that was just kind of a weird play for me. I think Sableye would have been a safe pick, but also he probably would have just used. I was also thinking he's going to use like U-turn or something. So, but he goes into his Cortana. I used my Horn Leech to do another little bit. That didn't do as much as I was expecting, but I was able to heal to full health. And he's pretty weak, so this Cortana doesn't have a lot left, and so I go into my Clefairy, my Clefable. I keep calling it Clefairy. I really do like Clefairy, so I think that's just what I want to call her. But I switch out into my Clefable, as he switches right back into his Landorus. just a lot of switching in this game, honestly. A lot of trying to get the right, sick predict, right? So I go for, sorry, he goes for the U-turn, doesn't do anything to me, and he goes back and he switches into his Kartana, and I think I just go for or no, I go for Wish. Dang, I usually I'd like to try to be a little bit more knowledgeable about this, but this game is so long. There's just so many moves. It was a 66 turn game, which is incredibly long for me. But so he gets burned. I've got the Wish coming in, so I switch out, thinking he might go for Swords Dance and maybe not try to kill me. But instead he just, and I'm down to 1 HP too, which really sucks. So luckily I did protect that turn with Grassy Terrain to get Sableye still alive, but yeah, he's able to just KO me. Just another bad protection for me, honestly. And next we go into my Clefable again, and I think at this point I just realized, like, okay, I can probably just kill him with Moonblast. So he goes for Leaf Blade, does nothing, especially with Grassy Terrain gone, and I just use Moonblast and KO him. So this is the first KO for Clefairy. She gets like a lot this game, so keep an eye out for this. But right now it's my two Pokemon to his 4, which is looking pretty bad for me, honestly. I have to really I don't know. You realize that this game's gonna be another 10 minutes or so, but yeah. So he goes for the U-turn on Landorus again, and he sends out his own Tapu Bulu. And let me tell you, this is like the grindiest reason for this match. I'm gonna speed it up way quick, but. So I use Heal Bell to get rid of the poison on my Tapu Bulu, but long story short, this Tapu Bulu gets poisoned, and he has Horn Leech, and so he can do enough damage. He does about half, and so between Wish and my leftovers, I'm just able to heal it right back up, and while he's restoring his own life with Horn Leech and all that, so that goes on a lot, and just between back and forth, and I think slowly I'm winning because he's still taking poison damage, and as long as I saw him out for the Grassy Terrain to wear out, I will win because he won't be, healing as much back, and then also he won't be doing as much damage with Horn Leech. So that's pretty much what I'm waiting for, while just protecting and wishing and all that. And he goes for the Sword Dance, also trying to bulk up, even though it once again doesn't matter for Clefable. But I think this is going to end soon. Yes, with Grassy Terrain gone, he withdraws and goes back into Landorus. I think I go for the Moonblast in this one, right? Yes, I go for Moonblast, which does quite a bit, honestly, to Landorus. About a third of damage, so 2 more of those, he's dead. He goes for the U-turn, and he goes into the Tapu Bulu again, essentially trying to do trying to start the same thing we've been doing for like the last, 5 minutes or so, but instead I just go for the Wish now, and then I believe I switch it back into my Tapu Bulu, thinking that I could probably, out-damage him. And I think his is more of a defensive build, while mine is with Choice Band. I think I have more strength and speed and all that. So we're going to switch into that after, like, 3 end-of-turn procs happen. Like, that's the reason it took so long. So many things were procking at the end of the turn. So I sent out my own Tapu Bulu, and he goes for the Sword Dance, which is kind of scary. I wish he would have not done that, but here we are. And so I really had the choice of either going for Stone Edge or going for my own Horn Leech. I felt more, I think, Stone Edge was probably the ballsier choice, and that's what I went for. I mean, I was 2 Pokemon down to 4, so I pretty much had to, and I felt like I could do enough damage. It got pretty close to half, thinking with how much he's getting back and all that, so I decided that I could probably do another one. And if I got a crit, since it has a high crit ratio, that's pretty much what I was betting on, even though I know it has like an 80% hit rate, so that's kind of risky to do that. So I think Horn Leech would have been good too, but I'm not sure how much it really would have done, and it would have been a kind of rough move to have just stuck on. So he goes for another Horn Leech, and I get him down to like 2 HP, which is really upsetting. If I would have KO'd him there, this game would have taken a lot less time, and could have been different, but instead, no, he lives with like 2 HP, and here we are. So I decided to go for another Stone Edge, once again, because I'm stuck in there, right? And he goes for Landorus, and I think I can get pretty close to KOing him here with it. And he goes for the Intimidate, which is also, an important thing to realize, that now I don't do as much damage to him and all that, so Grassy Terrain does also disappear, so I decided to just go right back into my Clefable. and I'm thinking at this time I could probably get the his own Tapu Bulu down. So he goes for another U-turn, and guess what? We get another couple minutes of the exact same thing we've been doing. So here we go. He's just using his health restore and his Horn Leech to get back down. So really, both of us are just seeing who's going to get a critical hit first, right? Because a critical hit would probably figure it out pretty quickly and could really KO either of us at this time. So we're just stalling out. He's losing a little bit more than I am, and I think if I kept doing this, it would work out. Especially if he got rid of the grassy terrain, because that would pretty much swing it back to my favor. So. We do this for a couple more minutes, this fun little song and dance, and pretty shortly, okay, so the grassy terrain disappears. Horn Leech does nothing now, so I go for the Wish. He's going to go for the swap here, and so instead of going for the Protect, I go for the Moonblast again, and he brings out his Landorus, and I believe I KO him here just because even though, you know, Clefable doesn't have that much damage, it does enough there. So there goes another one. Yes, that's 2 KOs for Clefable right now. So she's doing quite well. And now we just have 3 more Pokemon to get through. So next they bring out their Mega Diancie, who's poison and is really weak. So they do their own Moonblast, which once again does quite a bit. I use Wish knowing that you know, it does a little bit more than half, and I'll have to really just survive it. And with poison, it's luckily that's something I can do. So right now I go for the Protect, and you know, it's the same thing, right? You do damage, and then you protect, and then you Wish and all that. So I heal up with my Wish, and then fully with my leftovers. Knowing he's going to die next turn, I'm just going to go for Wish again. And yeah, pretty much that's a dead Diancie coming up. So yeah, he goes for one more Moonblast. If that Moonblast was a crit also, like, there's so many times where a crit would just end my life. So luckily none of that happened to, only the crits happened to my opponent this game, not me. But there goes the Diancie, and another one for Clefable. Yeah, alright, so that's 3 for Clefable. And so now we've got his Greninja, which is can be pretty scary, especially since this is a physically defensive, you know, Clefable, not a special defensive. So I decide to heal up all the way back to full. His Greninja gets a little bit damage, and I know he's, you know, it's Water Dark, so Moonblast would do super effective damage against him and probably one-shot him. So now we just have to get rid of his Tapu Bulu. Which, you know, can be super fast, right? This is going to be a quick, super easy, fast thing happening, right? No. So what happened here is that when my Clefable got hit by one of the Moonblasts from the Diancie, the special attack for Clefable dropped, which means that when we do this little stall war dance that we do, Clefable actually loses a little bit. So I decide to, I figured that out a little bit too late, and I decided to go into my Tapu Bulu just to kind of have him be death fodder and just do that. But I don't realize to do that until after you know, the terrain goes away. And I also noticed this because I don't have much PP left, and which kind of sucks. So yeah, I just go back into my Bulu, just reactivate my grassy terrain after I get my Clefable back up to moderately full health, and so I just switch into it, and it just dies immediately, but Grassy Surge comes back up again, which means that we get another couple minutes of just this awkward, just, you know, Horn Leech, Protect, Wish combination and all that. So all that's going on, but eventually going all the way through this, I get through it. And he might actually be out of PP for Horn Leech too, which I'm just noticing. So that also, I guess, worked. So, but yeah, eventually I just got all the way through it, and here we go. We KO the Tapu Bulu finally, and with a critical hit at the end. What luck! Yeah, so that's 4 kills for us, 4 kills for our Clefable, and we've got just one more Pokemon left. Grassy Terrain is gone too, and we just have the Greninja. And so I think I should be able to do this. He goes for Hydro Pump, and does a lot of damage, honestly, but not enough. And Moonblast here from Clefable is able to seal the deal and kill his final Pokemon. So that's 5 kills for Clefairy, which is a new record.
New record!
So yeah, that does it for this battle. I thought this was a really good battle. This is like the longest Pokemon battle I've ever had, and so just I think it taught me a lot, and also taught me like a lot of patience and kind of how to do that kind of stuff and what to do with when you have limited resources. So I also got super lucky. I'm not going to deny that. I got a crit when it happened, when I really needed one, and didn't get one. My opponent didn't get any. When he could have won the game with one crit pretty much. If he got one, he probably won the game in multiple situations. So I'm really lucky that happened as it did. But yeah, really great game. If you made it to this video so far, what are you doing not liking and subscribing this video? Come on, you obviously like my stuff. You slogged through pretty much a Star Wars. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.